What is going on, people? This is the Witch Doctor, and I'm showing off a new series that I had planned. This is the pilot episode, so that means the editing and all that won't be as great in this one, but in future episodes there might be better ones, better editing and stuff like that is what I mean. And I want to bring the nostalgia back for you guys. Sun and Moon is coming out soon, and that is what? Now we're in 2016 of Pokemon, guys. Pokemon came out so long ago, and let's face it, at one point or another we all collected Pokemon cards. And if I sound a little different or if I sound worse, I'm sorry. I actually bought a new mic because my old one broke, and I don't know if this one's any better. It sounds pretty good, but I'll see after editing. Anyways, so today I'm going to start off with a fan favorite Pokemon, and that is Nidoking. Almost everyone loves Nidoking, guys. Nidoking is probably one of the coolest Pokemon from the first generation, and there's not that many cool ones in Gen 1, to be honest. That's just my opinion. I'm not too crazy about Gen 1, to be honest, but what this series is about, we're going to look at the very first card that the Pokemon was made of. So for Nidoking, he came out in base set. Now, base set came out in Japan in October 20, 1996. For us in the States, we got it January 9th in 1999. So this is the very first Nidoking card out there, guys. So let's go ahead and look at this Nidoking, and then how the series works. I show you the very first card of the Pokemon and the very latest one that was made. Then at the end of the video, I will give you my opinion on the best card, the best version card of the Pokemon that came out. So at the end of it, I'll explain why I think this Nidoking card is the best one out of all the Nidokings that we gotten so far. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the first Nidoking, guys. It started off with base 90 HP. Now, if you still keep up to the card game to date, that's actually pretty low for a stage 2 Pokemon, and I mean really low. But again, this is when the card game first started out, so the playstyle was very different. Things were a lot slower back then, which is a format that I like. I like slower formats. I don't like this fast-paced stuff too much. I've always enjoyed slow formats. Anyways, base 90 HP, it is a stage 2. It has a retreat cost of 3, which is high. No resistance and weakness to Psychic. So let's go into the attacks. Flip a coin if heads. This is for Thrash. This attack does 30 damage plus 10 more damage. If tails, this attack does 30 damage, and Nidoking does 10 damage to itself. Alright, so that's already not all that good, but back then I can see how that had some use, because it takes 1 grass energy and 2 colorless. So back then we had a card called double colorless energy, which we still have today, and that could easily accelerate the Nidoking's Thrash along with just putting 1 grass energy to make the attack come out a lot faster. The next attack, however, is Toxic, which takes 3 grass energies, and that is kind of hefty for what this attack does. Alright, so Toxic, the defending Pokemon is now poisoned. It may take 20 poison damage instead of 10 after each player's turn, even if it was already poisoned. So that is actually pretty decent for this card back then. It already has a base damage of 20, so adding an additional 20 to the poison instead of the 10 is actually really nice. So this will whittle away at your opponent's Pokemon, but Thrash itself kind of puts this thing back a little bit. Now, Thrash does still do 60 damage regardless, and back then Pokemon did not have a lot of HP, so that was still really good. So I think this Nidoking was actually alright. So let's go ahead and look at the newest Nidoking. Alright, so the newest Nidoking that we have is actually in our newest set, which is Steam Siege, which came out in Japan in June 17, 2016, and recently came out for us in August 3rd, 2016. So this Nidoking, let's look at it compared to the other one. This one has 150 base HP compared to the 90. This one also has an ability now, and only has 1 attack. Its retreat cost is up to 4 instead of 3. Still has no resistance, and Psychic is still weak. It's still weak to Psychic. So let's go ahead and look at the ability. Now, King's Palace. This is actually a pretty decent ability. Your Nidoqueen's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and damage counters. So this ability can actually stack. If you have 4 Nidokings out, you have potential of doing 80 more damage. So that is actually pretty decent towards the Nidoqueen. I don't know what the Nidoqueen card is, but you got a potential chance of doing 80 more damage with it. So this card is alright if you're running that kind of deck, even though that is a stage 2 heavy deck, and now things are a lot faster, so a deck like this would not work too well. So the attack it has is called Power Lariat for 2 Psychics and 1 Colorless. The attack does 30 more damage for each evolved Pokemon on your bench. This is actually really good if you're running an evolution deck, and with multiple Nidoqueens, I'm pretty sure this would help a lot because it already does 60 damage, and if you already have 4 Nidoqueens or Nidokings on your bench, or I'm sorry, 3 because this will be your active and the rest of them be Nidoqueens, this attack would do quite a bit of damage, which is very nice. So this Nidoking is actually pretty decent. Now, we've seen this one. We've seen the very first Nidoking. Now, in my opinion, because this is when I did play a little bit, I did play early on. I played more competitively in when Blaziken FB came out, Level X. That's when I played more. It was Level X competitively around that time. So, and now I'm going to give you, in my opinion, probably the best Nidoking. Alright, so in my opinion, the best Nidoking, again, in my opinion, you guys could disagree. Maybe you played another formats where Nidoking did something else. This is when I kind of first started playing and learning the game, which was in Fire Red and Leaf Green EX. So, we got this expansion in Japan in April 9th, 2004, and we got it here in North America on August 30th, 2004. So, let's look at this Nidoking and why I think it's probably the best one, because I did use it a little bit. So, Power Gene is actually a very good Pokebody ability, and well, that's what it basically was, an ability. As long as Nidoking is in play, you're attacked by the entire female Nidorino line, and up to Nidoran and Nidorino male do 10 more damage to the defending Pokemon, which is actually really nice back then. As you can see, this one has 120 HP, starting to get decent HP, and it has a ground typing. Now, let me tell you, ground typing back then was actually pretty decent. I actually liked ground a lot back then. So let's go ahead and look at the attacks. For 1 Fighting Energy and 1 Colorless, this is what it's called, Fighting Energy. It does Earth Poison. If the defending Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, the defending Pokemon is now poisoned. So it already does 40, and it is a cheap attack, and it is really good. Another thing that I like about this card a lot, if you played Switch, you could put this on your bench when it takes too much damage, and you can use its Pokebody ability to power up your Nidoqueen or any of the other lines except for another Nidoking. But if you had another Nidoking, I believe it does stack, so that's actually pretty good. The next attack is Bound Crush for 2 Fighting and 2 Colorless, which is a very hefty attack cost. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage to that Pokemon. Do not apply weakness or resistance to the bench Pokemon. Nidoking can't use Bound Crush during your next turn. While I like this attack, even though it is cost heavy, it is a really nice attack because it allows you to snipe. It doesn't say you have to attack the active, but you have the choice to attack the active or anything else on the bench, which is actually really nice. It is weak to water, and water was played quite a bit back then, and it has a resistance, as a retreat of 3 and still no resistance. So it is still a retreat heavy Pokemon, but in my opinion, this is probably the best Nidoking that I've seen. I've been playing the card game for a while now, guys, and this is probably the best one in my opinion. Like I said, in my opinion. You guys got different ones? Alright. Yeah, just please explain why you think that one's the better one. I don't want you guys to just comment saying this is the best Nidoking because no reason. I need a reason for it. I gave you my reasons on why, so I much appreciate if you tell me yours. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will let you guys pick the next Pokemon actually. Instead of me doing ones that I like, I'll let you pick and I will go and look at that Pokemon myself. As of how often I'll do this, I'll probably get one out every week or 2 every week. Who knows? Depending how you guys like it. But until then, guys, darkness.